Welcome back to Just a Bit Offside. I am Fish.
K-Dog.
It is our big game Sunday Super Bowl show. We're going to do our prediction, break down this matchup. We'll each pick who we think is going to win. I think mine is pretty obvious, but let's dive right into it because to me, these two teams are very evenly matched.
Yeah,
extremely evenly matched.
Yeah, I mean it's gonna be a game.
They were both 14-3 regular season.
Yeah,
both now 2-0 in the playoffs. They were the 1 seeds with a bye.
Yeah,
each of them has a Kelsey brother.
Yeah,
6 All Pros, including that Kelsey brother and their own QB, and they both did 546 points total in the season. Exact number both teams.
I mean, that's pretty remarkable.
They're very even. And the Eagles are, for whatever reason Vegas has decided, a 1.5 point favorite going into Super Bowl Sunday. Let's break it down, man. Let's give me some stats. There's
a lot to break down.
Let's do it. Let's dive in.
On paper, I still think the Eagles are just deeper right now.
Yeah.
And their defense is just lights out.
I think that's the one thing. So, and again, obviously I am biased, but I feel like even though the Eagles won that San Francisco game handily, I think it was because of San Francisco's injuries.
Yeah.
I think it's a totally different game if the 49ers had a healthy quarterback.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
So to me, I don't even count that as a stepping stone to the Super Bowl because it was just a rout. It was 31-7.
Well, both our games are routes. They
killed the Giants.
They killed the Giants 38-7.
Yeah.
So they've only allowed 14 points in the postseason.
That's incredible.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Come on. You know?
So to me, the only advantage here, again, speaking of them being equal, both quarterbacks have an injury. Jalen Hurts throwing shoulder and Patrick Mahomes high ankle sprain. So just equal as far as disadvantage or advantage. I'd say the one thing.
Yeah.
And they always say defense wins Super Bowls. You remember that Ravens team with Flacco?
Yeah.
They won that Super Bowl because of defense.
The Denver Super Bowl.
Denver, exactly. It's a great.
Peyton Manning was 54. 54.
I think it was 40, but yeah.
On his left hand, all his fingers were taped together. He was just hitting stuff like this. And it was Von Miller's I'm just going to go sack everybody. It's all good. Don't worry about it.
It was the Broncos defense that won that Super Bowl. And honestly, that's a lot of the times it's defense wins Super Bowl. So if you look at this, how evenly matched they are, Mahomes is a wild card. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
And Hurts' shoulder, they rushed 4 TDs against the 49ers.
Yeah.
No throwing TDs.
No throwing TDs, no.
But Jalen Hurts also got one of those rushes. He's incredible on his feet. This is so evenly matched that I feel like this really comes down to the defense.
Yeah.
And for me, the Eagles have a better all-around defense. That's in my opinion.
Well, they had the number 1 pass defense in the league.
Yeah.
They only allowed 180 yards per game. Kansas City has the number 1 offense. And they threw for 298 yards a game.
Yeah.
So that's going to be an issue because if the Eagles shut that down with their defense, and the fact is Kansas City is missing a lot of wide receivers.
Yeah, there's a bunch of injuries.
Juju Smith-Schuster is questionable with his knee. Kadarius Toney's questionable with, I think it's an ankle or
thigh or left
ankle and hamstring.
Yeah,
so they're both questionable. They're both wide receivers. Yeah, I mean
Hardman's on IR.
Hardman's out.
Hardman is for sure out for the Chiefs.
Yeah. So now you got Sky Moore and Marquez Valdez-Scantling, who was a beast last game.
I do.
So it's going to be interesting. So people are going to have to step up. But the Eagles' D is going to be an issue.
We have to mention that the Riddick had what 16?
I had that written down actually. Yeah, Hassan
16
Riddick,
and a half,
16 sacks.
16 sacks. Now that in itself is if you're not up for one of the best defensive players of the year, but you have a player who has 16 sacks.
Yeah.
The Eagles also have 3 other players with 11 sacks.
Yeah, that's just dumb.
So, like, if you versus the Kansas City Chiefs, who have Chris Jones, who's a beast on defense with 15 or 15 and a half sacks.
15 and a half.
On the season, but the next person with the most sacks is 6.
Yeah, yeah.
So if you take the Eagles all-around defense, where you have 4 players, 11 plus, one of them was 16. Who are the other 3 players? Graham,
Hargrave, and Josh Sweat.
Josh Sweat.
Yeah.
Well, the Kansas City Chief O-line is going to be sweating because they got to stop all 4 of these guys on defense. Like, the Eagles' defense to me I think that's where that 1.5 point spread is coming down to the Eagles' defense being so tight.
Well, the Eagles' D was also number 3 in the league in forcing turnovers.
Yeah.
They forced 17 interceptions and 10 fumbles. 10 fumbles, 17 interceptions. So,
wow.
That's an issue. Mahomes loves playing the wild card.
Yeah.
I mean, let's face it.
He doesn't get sacked a lot, though, because of his maneuvers, but he has a high ankle sprain.
So I think it's going to come down to they're going to have to run it quite a bit.
Yeah.
And Kelsey's going to get a lot of looks.
I think Travis Kelce is going to have a huge game, especially because of all the injuries on the wide receiver core for the Kansas City Chiefs. But their running game gets a bit of a boost because Clyde Edwards-Helaire is back and active for this game. Mixing that in with Pacheco, who I think is an amazing running back, really filled in really nicely. He's small, but he's very fast.
Right.
And also with the Jerick McKinnon. So the Chiefs' running game got a bit of a boost with Helaire back, but they do have some injuries at wide receiver, so I think he'll be leaning on Travis Kelce quite a bit.
Yeah, but the Eagles' running backs are just ridiculous.
Boston Scott,
Miles Sanders, and Gainwell.
And Sanders had 2 rush TDs against the 49ers. I'm
picking the Chiefs.
This is equal.
That's it. I'm picking the Chiefs. I don't know why. I feel bad about it. I don't think it's going to work. Goddamn Eagles are too good. They're too deep. They're too deep. I'm taking the Chiefs by 7.
I was going to get the penalty stats from you.
Doesn't matter.
Is that on a different piece of paper?
Right here.
Oh, okay.
Doesn't matter.
So
the Eagles are too deep.
Again, on defense, what was each team as far as penalties versus yards?
Kansas City for the year, penalties, 87 penalties, 838 yards.
Okay.
Eagles, 90 penalties, only 682 yards.
Okay. So Eagles a bit better.
A little better. Kansas City had some, obviously, some harsher
penalties.
Postseason, Kansas City's had 7 penalties, 85 yards. Eagles, 9 penalties, only 59 yards.
Okay, so
it's not too bad. Yeah,
not too bad. Still pretty even, but that edge goes to the Eagles.
This sounds like a lot of 5-yard penalties,
Yeah. A lot of offside.
A lot of offsides, whatever. Delay games, whatever they call them.
To me, this biggest wild card is Patrick Mahomes. On paper, you're right. The Eagles are deeper. I'm an Eagles fan. I love Jalen Hurts. They're going to run the ball. I think A.J. Brown's going to have a great game.
Of course he is.
You can get Dallas Goedert in the mix. He's not as good as Travis Kelce. I'm willing to admit that.
Yeah.
Travis Kelce's a full first ballot Hall of Famer when he enters Canton.
Yeah.
I mean, that's for sure going to happen.
Oh, yeah. They've already, for sure. It's 100%.
But the wild card here for me, even though the Eagles are better on defense, is Mahomes. Mahomes is, and don't hear me now, he has been in the league 5 years as a starter.
Yeah.
He has been to 5 straight AFC championship games. This is his 3rd Super Bowl, and he won 1.
Yeah.
The one that they lost to Tom Brady and the Bucks, I don't blame him. He didn't even throw a touchdown in that game, by the way.
Yeah, it's because his offensive line took a mulligan.
Yeah, it really was bad.
So all of them were seen at the TGA Fridays the night before till way past close.
Habit shooters.
Seriously, all those jalapeno poppers are going to mess with you.
But they've did improve since then on the O-line. Kansas City has made a lot of improvements since then, but this is his third Super Bowl in 5 years as a starter.
I know. It's
5 straight AFC championships plus a Super Bowl win. Patrick Mahomes in the next 5 to 10 years will be called the Michael Jordan of football. I wholeheartedly believe that he's got that much drive and that much talent, especially he's not a pocket quarterback. He sidearm throws. He will scramble. He'll make defenses think twice about where he's going to go. The one thing with the high ankle sprain is I don't think he'll be able to scramble the way that he normally does.
No, his mobility is going to be suspect.
It'll be a little more limited. However, if Patty Mahomes is going to win this for the Chiefs, he can do it. And I'm saying that as an Eagles fan. I am scared. I'm going to look straight into this one. I am scared of Patrick Mahomes. He is an absolute talented genius. And the one thing that scares me is like the Kaiser Soze reference from The Usual Suspects. The only thing that scares me about the Super Bowl is Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
He is an absolute talented magician.
Yeah, I think people know that. Yeah.
Making a point.
I got a little upset here because I'm all about Kansas City until I started reading all the stats I wrote down and realized the Eagles are so deep. But the one thing that Kansas City has, and I'm taking Kansas City by 7. That's all there is to it.
By 7?
By 7.
It's not even close?
I think they're gonna. I think they're gonna take it by 7.
Spread's 1.5.
I'm going 7.
7. Okay.
7.
All
Kansas
right.
City by 7. I was gonna say 3, and then I said no. I'm going with 7.
Okay.
You know, I'm putting $50,000 on it.
By the way, this is winner take all in our season-long prediction show.
Yeah.
I was up for the regular season. That's neither here nor there. This is all coming down to this. It's winner takes all. Forget what the total was in predictions all season.
Yeah.
Winner takes all title of prediction king here. You're taking Kansas City. Sorry, you had a point about your 7 points.
I think the one thing, another thing, not the one thing, there's a couple things, back and forth. There's lots of things. One thing that Kansas City has in favor is Andy Reid.
Now, another part of the story, there's so many great storylines, and
saying.
You're right. Andy Reid is a better coach. Andy Reid was the former coach of the Eagles.
Yep. True.
And we mentioned it briefly at the beginning of the show. 2 brothers, the Kelsey brothers. So Travis Kelce and Jason Kelce.
Yeah, the good-looking one and the other guy.
I think you're meaning, obviously Jason Kelsey's the pretty one, right? Offensive lineman, veteran. Veteran for the Eagles offensive line, Jason Kelce. His brother, Travis Kelce, as we mentioned, is going to be a Hall of Famer, tight end for the Kansas City Chiefs.
They're both
That's really cool.
Both Hall of Famers.
Actually, Jason Kelce will be a Hall of Famer.
Famers, for sure.
So the mom doesn't know who to root for. And if you've seen all the stuff on social media,
no, I haven't. No.
It's like, and I'll be a winner no matter what because both my sons are in it.
Well, she has to say that. That's mom code.
I think that Jason would say that I am going to root for the baby of the family, which is Travis. And I keep trying to tell him, no, you've given me grandchildren. So we'll leave it at that. It's always about the grand.
I think she's rooting for Travis. I'm just saying.
Probably.
I'm just saying.
More than likely.
But that's a really cool storyline. Andy Reid used to coach the Eagles. Now can take away a Super Bowl by winning with the Chiefs. And also the fact that the Kelce brothers are battling each other in opposing teams. So a lot of great storylines. Is there any other stats that you wanted to throw out? Or
there was tons of stats. We covered pretty much everything.
Okay.
I mean, we're pretty good. We're good.
All right. So at the end of the day, even though it's 1.5 point spread for the Eagles, and I think it's going to be a really close game, you are saying Kansas City by 7.
Yeah. Eagles could put up points too. They're number 3 in the league this year for scoring. But I think.
Do you want to predict a final score? That'd be great for our recap show. Final score: Chiefs by 7. What's the score?
31-24.
31-24. Okay. I of course am taking my Eagles. They've been dominant all season. It is the Chiefs. I get it. 1 seed versus 1 seed, but I'm not going to pick against my favorite team. The Philadelphia Eagles. So I will take the Eagles. I think it's going to be closer than what you think.
We'll see.
And I think it'll be 37-34. I think there'll be touchdowns.
Okay.
I do. I don't think it'll be low scoring, but I think it'll be a 3-point game. Eagles cover that spread with 1.5 by a 3-point win, possibly a Jake Elliott field goal for the win, 37-34 Eagles.
I feel it's going to go late into the fourth. It's going to be 24-24. Eagles are going to get turned over on downs.
Oh.
Kansas City's going to get it back around the 55-yard line.
Okay. You're getting very specific. Drive the field.
Mahomes is going to scramble.
Okay.
Boom. Right to Marquez Scanlon.
Oh, MVS.
Right there. Touchdown.
All right.
Game's over.
I like it.
Sign it. Take your kids' college fund out and put the money on that.
Please gamble responsibly.
Yes, with your kids' tuition, and you will double it.
Eagles are going to win, so don't do that. It'll be really interesting. Either way, it's the big game. It's the Super Bowl. We've been doing this all season. We're very excited. We can't wait. We will come back after the big game on Sunday and do a recap show and see which one of us was right and which one of us was full of steaming hot bull. This guy. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow Just a Bit Offside on Instagram for more bonus content. Until next time after the Super Bowl, I'm Fish.
K-Dog.
We'll see you again soon.
Peace.